This is the ASUSTOR AS4004T. 4 bays, and it's a NAS. The software is really the sweet spot when it comes to what you're looking at here. This has got a lot of really cool features, and this is a product of a company that was made by ASUS and ADATA. They got together, and so they made ASUSTOR, and ASUSTOR uses really high-quality parts like you get the Asus motherboard. Also in here you have the Marvell 1.6 gigahertz dual-core Cortex A72 CPU. And that is an ARM processor, but it's quite a bit faster than a lot of the other ARM processors out there in the market. Plus, it's really low power. As far as the transfer speeds on this thing can, depending on, it's all going to be dependent upon the hard drives that you're running in there. But if you got like a RAID 5 configuration with some good SSDs, and even some of these regular hard drives like we have in here, you can get upwards of 600 megabytes per second on your read, and the write speeds can be around 250, somewhere in that range. So this is a fast unit, and I'll categorize this as a unit that's really good for small business, home office, and just home entertainment and that sort of thing. Guys, this is the easiest unit I've ever used when it comes to getting things set up and mapping network drives remotely or on your own computer. Just getting it set up was insanely easy. ASUSTOR also has several mobile apps, so you can set everything up and manage your NAS from your phone. I want to note that I tried out the audio application, and it synced up with the NAS, no problem, and it was streaming all my music to my mobile device so I can listen to it anywhere I like. I'm going to go through the rest of the specs quickly because I want to get to the software. That's the magic that's going on right here. Now, we put 4 Seagate Iron Wolf drives in there. Those are 8 terabyte each, and we're running a RAID 5 configuration. You guys can run whatever you like, and if you're not sure what to do, you can hit auto, and the machine will look at your hardware and say, all right, we're going to use the best possible configuration for what you have in there. So just click it and let it do its thing and get all your stuff stored here rather than on your own personal computer. Another really cool thing about this, you have 2 gigabytes of memory. The 64-bit architecture will support 16 terabytes on a single volume. So that's what you guys can put in here. Now, one thing that's really special about this, we have 3 Ethernet ports on the back. We have a single gig Ethernet port, we have another single gig Ethernet port, and then we have a 10 gig port. So this little unit right here has 10 gig on board. And you may not have 10 gig in your home yet, but if you do, that's awesome. In the future, a lot of devices are going to be coming out with 10 gig, and it's pretty easy to upgrade your house to 10 gig. If you want to go out and grab a router and a couple inexpensive cards for your computer, you can do it. However, let's say you're not ready to do that yet. Well, this supports teaming, so you can create like a lag team group, and what that means is you can run all 3 of them at the same time if your hardware supports it in the rest of your house, and then you can get up to 3 gigabit just with a standard normal gig switch or whatever. So if your stuff is compatible, that's a good way to go. Now, the noise levels. I've got it right here on the desk, and I decided to have it running the entire time I'm doing this video so you guys could hear that you can't hear it. Is that the right way to say that? You can hear that there's nothing to hear. At load, it's about 30 decibels. When it's just sitting idle, it's about 30 decibels. It's always about 30 decibels. The thing that I've heard the most occasionally is the hard drive reading or writing, because it's, these are spinning disk hard drives. And you can hear them here and there, but it's really not that big of a deal. Now, as far as compatibility goes, I want you guys to go over to their website and click on the compatibility tab. There you're going to see that this is compatible with all kinds of stuff. Now, it's compatible with a lot of routers out there on the market. You can actually set this up so that as you're in the software, it will talk to your router and tell your router to forward certain ports and everything, so you're not going to have to go into your router and stress out on this. This can talk to your router and make it all happen. Also, IP cameras. This can work as a little surveillance NAS, and you can put IP cameras all over the place. It'll support multiple streams at the same time. It's got plenty of throughput to do that. And it's compatible with most of the IP cameras out there on the market, so you guys can mix and match to your heart's content. Now, this also has USB on the back, so you can run external storage with that, or you can set it up to do all kinds of things. This thing can work with printers and just all kinds. You can see here on the list all the different stuff that it works with. As far as installing drives here in the front, this was toolless. I didn't have to mess around with any screws or anything like that. It was really simple. You just pull out the sled, put the drive in there, pop the sides on, and slide it back in. They're hot swappable, but once it's in there running, just leave them in there. You're good to go. Now, they know the hardware in here is good. Like I said, they're using the Asus board on the inside here, using quality components. So they're giving you guys a 3-year warranty, and that's one of the best I've seen on a self-contained NAS unit like this. here is the interface that you're greeted with. Look at all this. Now there's all sorts of different services here that you can add, all just at the default ports for now, but you guys can change the ports. You don't even really need WebDAV with this if you're going to be trying to map network drives remotely, and I'll show you that in a second. So Easy Connect is a very simple way to get connected on your phone and also on your computers at home, and you can map network drives. You set up your cloud ID, you can rename it to whatever. I'm going to rename it after this video, so don't even worry about it. After that, on your other remote computer, you can open up your Easy Connect program, and then you can just click on whatever and map a drive, and hey, it'll ask you which drive do you want to map. This is just the default stuff that came up, and you can do this from any computer, so you can map remote network drives without having to rely upon WebDAV or anything like that. It's really freaking easy. This is not one of their extremely beefy NAS units, so it may be able to do a couple of video streams, but I wouldn't recommend this for completely ridiculous media sharing. Should be okay, but not for a ton of stuff. All right, when you first connect to this, a lot of this stuff is self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go through all of it. Backup and restore is mostly internally here on the NAS for you to back up and restore, to FTP. You can do cloud backup, all that's set up right in here. I want to mess with my theme. That's like the first thing I usually do. There we go, get a little darker theme going on there. Ooh, that's nice. We can get a new background going. So my images folder. Now I've made it my own. This is handy if you're, streaming music or videos, or if you've got maybe a bunch of security cameras running on this, you can check that out. We don't have any LUNs set up right now, so we're not using iSCSI, but if you want to use this to set up some iSCSI LUNs, you can do that. It's more enterprise grade type stuff, but yeah. This is a pretty handy tool to see everything that's going on. App Central is a really cool feature. Now, first off, you can just install and update apps you have right here. You can manually install apps. Since this is basically a little version of Linux, you can do that if you like. And you can come down here and browse the ASUSTOR apps. Now they have apps to sync up with Dropbox and Google Drive and most of the services out there, and it will actually sync the files on your Dropbox and your Google Drive and stuff to your NAS, which is nice and easy. Hey, FFmpeg, that's pretty cool. You guys can pretty much see what's here. Now you guys can also set this up to run as a web server, so if you wanted to, you can enable that feature. And then, run WordPress or whatever on here. Set up a little private forum. And that's just the ASUSTOR stuff. So all apps, there are a lot of apps. Look through here. Oh, Minecraft, what? So install whatever apps you like. Different ways to download straight to the NAS so you don't have to leave your computer on. Hey, transmission. So the nice thing about transmission is you can use it to open up torrent files on your NAS and then just download stuff straight to your NAS. You can turn your computer off. It'll keep downloading, no problem. And it'll be wherever you like it on your NAS. So you can access it anywhere. Let's take a look at all the services that we have here. Now, of course, you can enable CFS for Windows, Samba sharing. You've got Mac OS sharing. NFS, you can enable that. So that's just a way if you want to share an individual, I guess you can pretty much share an individual folder or whatever as a mapped drive. FTP, WebDAV. You can do the web server terminal right here. Ooh, let's enable the SSH access over terminal. I'm not going to make it port 22. So you guys can see everything here. TFTP, rsync is handy, and SFTP. It's not under FTP. I was looking for the SFTP, and I was like, oh, it's down here. So EasySync Manager is pretty cool because you can download it for your desktop right here. But EasySync, it basically creates a separate little area that acts as your own personal Dropbox. So you can download the EasySync application and just quickly upload things from, say, your phone or whatever. Just with a touch of a button, it'll pop here. And then you can use their applications to sync it up with other desktops and stuff. So you could essentially take a picture with your phone and have it synced to your NAS, and then have that synced to several different desktop computers, so you can always have your latest images. So ASUSTOR Backup Plan is another application you can download. So you guys can do that, but just know you have all these options here for backup. There's the Photo Gallery app. We have not added any photos yet. See if we can upload a few. Pretty quick. You can name the album if you want to. Ooh, I can make this public and share it. All right, so I made an album just of a few wallpapers. It's pretty responsive right here inside the GUI. Let's talk about access control. So you have groups and users. So you can come over here and create a group, and then these are local people in the building, right? And then you can say, we want to add this to a group. You can come over and add them to a different group, and then set their folder access rights so that only certain people can have access to certain folders. And if you want to do Active Directory, we can set that up as well. And then you can come down here and just configure your share folders.
When you set up a new user here, it'll just ask you right now if you want to define their role and privileges, which is handy. And I have not made any other groups. He's just going to be a user. And then you can say, oh, what does he have rights for? Well, he can do this and this. Having the internal file explorer is pretty handy. And you can drag and drop. So even though I'm inside the browser, I can drag and drop. There we go. Just drag and drop from my desktop. That'll be really handy while we're traveling and just need to quickly pop up on a laptop, throw in the Easy Connect ID, connect to our NAS remotely, and then drag and drop a couple of files, and there they are.
Overall, there's not a lot to complain about. This thing does exactly what it says it's going to do, and it does it well. You guys saw what the software looks like. You guys, it's really freaking easy to set this up, and I like it. I quite like it a lot. I'll be curious to see where some of the software goes. Some of it's in beta, some of it does need a little bit of work. But I'm curious to see where it's going, and it seems to be going in the right direction. The other thing I'll note is if you're going to be doing a lot of media, like heavy 4K streams all over the house, like 4 or 5 different screens, it might feel a little sluggish for that. But if you're doing like 1080p streams to multiple different devices at the same time, that's going to be no problem whatsoever. If you're a creative firm and you've got like 5 or 6 employees and they're all going to be writing to the NAS at all times, you might want to step up to one of the beefier units. But for most home office situations and most just even creative offices that only have a few employees, this is going to be a really good way to get you guys started. And the software is so easy to set up that it's like almost a no-brainer. I like this unit. It's good stuff. Be sure to grab yourself a t-shirt and a mouse over on Epic Pants. We'll see you guys in the comments. This is the Tasmanian devil was inside me for a second.